So this is a video I didn't really want to make, and honestly, I wished I never had to make any kind of videos like this, but I do think that my experiences, good or bad, in the crypto space might be educational to you guys. So here we go. First, let me start out by saying that I totally stepped up my background. Check this out. I received my posters. These are kind of cool. By the way, links in description if you're interested. I'm really loving the new look of this. I got a new light, so the camera looks awesome and nice. I digress. Anyways, today we're going to talk about how I got scammed out of $2,000. The month of January has been all kinds of crazy for the crypto space. The market was going down. People are still buying JPEGs for crazy amounts of money. And a project called Time Wonderland totally up. Time Wonderland is a fork of Olympus DAO. If you don't know what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. So what does all that gibberish means? Basically, it's a kind of governance project, right? For instance, the new Picasso NFTs that just came out, right? Well, if you didn't have the cash to buy one, you could create a DAO and basically do a fundraiser, and all these people that would participate would all vote in order to decide if they bought that Picasso NFT or not. And if they did, well, they all owned a little share of it. What really got people interested in DAOs were the crazy APYs they were offering. At some point, Olympus DAO was offering 7,700% yearly. I don't know if you realize how much that is. That means you put $1,000 at the beginning of the year, you get $7,700 back at the end of the year. Well, some people wanted to do more, and that's where Time Wonderland, Rome DAO, and a crazy amount of different DAOs that either RugPulled or were driven to the ground were created. And Time Wonderland's APY was about 86,000% when I got in. That meant that if I put 1,000 in, at the end of the year, I should supposedly have around 80 grand. But you know what doesn't take a year? Scrolling down and hitting that like button. And if you do, I appreciate you. Not bad, right? I mean, what other kind of investment is there that has that high of a yield? Do you know the saying, when it's too good to be true, it's probably fake? Well, that wasn't really applying to our situation with Time Wonderland. And I guess I overextended a bit, but in the first couple of days of January, I was kind of FOMOing, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put $2,000 into this because I'm definitely not getting a Lambo from working a normal job or ordering Uber Eats every day. So I was like, this sounds like a good idea. Lambo, Uber Eats, doing nothing, turn that into 160,000 at the end of the year. You know what? I'm gonna do a tiny bit of research, ignore all the red flags.
Is it a Ponzi?
I guess. And dive in. So that was Daniel, one of the creators of Time Wonderland, who also is part of Abracadabra Money, Popsicle Finance, and if my memory is correct, they just bought Sushi Swap. I'm tired. Okay, I just looked it up. I don't think they bought Sushi Swap, but Daniel became a part of the project. And so for the first couple of days, everything's nice and chill. You know, my money goes down a little bit, but I was expecting that because crypto fluctuates immensely inside of a day. So I probably went down like $130 to $140 in the first 5 days. But I'm like, who cares? I'm making basically 10% every 5 days of my investment. So in the next 5 days, I'll be back up to 2,000, right? Well, no. The way this project worked was you'd buy AVAX or Avalanche, and then you would swap it on a platform like Trader Joe's for time being their token, and stake it for 80,000% APY. Eventually, they came up with new things, such as when you stake time, it turns into memo, and then you can wrap that memo so that instead of receiving daily interest, the value of the token just goes up. So that's like, for instance, for US citizens, that is a good thing because that means no short-term capital gains and basically less tax. So the project was looking promising. They had good ideas that were getting implemented. But a couple days back, something happened. Remember when I said that Daniel was one of the creators of the project? Well, there was another guy that was anonymous called Sifu. And a couple days back, we discovered that Sifu was a fraud felon. He spent 2 years in federal prison for those crimes, was part of another project that also committed fraud, but he wasn't charged with anything on that one. And the guy changed his name twice. I mean, who changes their name twice? Bad news is bad news. Everybody learns about that and kind of is scared of where the project might be going with this dude that's in charge of the treasury. One thing you could do with time was stake it and then borrow against your staked time. So you'd stake, borrow, put more time in staking, borrow against that borrowed time, stake it, borrow against that borrowed time again, stake it, you get it. And basically, a lot of people were doing this and were hella over leveraged. Even Sifu himself, the guy that's in charge of the treasury, was doing this. And at some point, the price of Time Wonderland was going down so much that in order to not have his positions liquidated, he took out $8.4 million to use as collateral so that his positions wouldn't get liquidated. But I guess that $8.4 million wasn't enough. His positions did get liquidated. And keep in mind, I'm in France, so all this is happening while I'm asleep. I'm not on Twitter when everybody's going crazy about this, right? And I wake up in the morning, and my phone usually has a couple notifications, you know, no more Tinder matches, because it's a pay to win now, unfortunately. I'm running an Android, so I have Google News that will send me a couple articles every morning to read. I opened the first one because the title was kind of crazy. It's how this dude ran away with $450 million of people's crypto. And I'm thinking, like, what kind of dumb put their money in a project that RugPulled for $450 million? Well, I read the article and Time Wonderland. So I guess I'm the dumb person, part of them. Yeah. I'm not calling people that put their money into Time Wonderland dumb because I did it myself. It's just, boo, sheesh. Sifu or Michael Patryn ran away with around 450 million USD of the treasury, and that forced the price of Time Wonderland down even more. So my $2,000 was now worth around $300. $300, might as well leave it in. We'll see how this goes. Well, 2 days later, that $300 is pretty much worth $200. The reason I lost $2,000, pretty much $2,000, is because I FOMO'd. Fear of missing out, you know? I saw that crazy high APY. I was like, this project has one dude that's public and that has a couple other good projects. So in my mind, it had a steady foundation. I ignored some of the red flags, and that was not a great idea. I shouldn't have done that. That $2,000 is kind of a big hit for me. You never should put more than what you can afford to lose. I got greedy, and that's the worst thing to do in the market. But I learned my lesson, and if that lesson cost me $1,800, well, it's an expensive one, and I won't forget it. I'm trying to be a little bit humoristic around all this situation because it does really suck. And I'm sorry if you watching this video had money in Time Wonderland and you lost some, but you know, that's the space. On a different note, I tried to get a Weather XM miner on the 1st of February, which I didn't get because their website totally crashed. It is a project a little bit similar to Planet Watch, where instead of sharing air quality, you share your surroundings meteorological weather. You share your weather data, okay? Rain, sun, all that stuff. And so I did not get one, unfortunately, but I'll be following that project closely, and if I do have the chance to get one, I will do that. Also, I have another video coming up with some footage back from November of installing a helium hotspot in a new location. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe because 95% of you guys aren't subscribed, and if you do, it helps me a lot, and blah blah blah.